Okay, welcome everybody. Bienvenidos a todos. Gracias por conectarse hoy viernes. Sé que estamos en nuestras fiestas patrias, pero también hacemos patria cuando nos educamos y cuando queremos seguir realmente mejorando nuestro país a través de la educación y la ciencia. Así que bienvenidos a todos los que nos están acompañando. Today it's also the start of International Education Month. So we got approval from our colleagues in DC and region that we're not only going to do International Education Week in Panama, but we're going to have International Education Month. And this is our first event, so we're excited to have all of you here. So today we're going to talk about applying to graduate studies in the U.S. O sea que nos vamos a enfocar en posgrados, pero para los que nos están escuchando, que están todavía en secundaria, que están viendo en qué estudiar, que se quieren proyectar en el futuro, les recomiendo que igual se queden, aunque estamos enfocándonos en posgrados, porque al final de la sesión también vamos a tener la historia de dos exalumnos becados panameños de Macaracas y de Chiriquí. Así que nos ayuda a que también se inspiren un poquito y vean qué pueden hacer profesionales cuando tienen posgrados en Estados Unidos, aquí en Panamá. Así que, bueno, sin más, yo soy Gladys Bernet, la representante de Education USA aquí en Panamá. Hoy vamos a tener con nosotros a tres universidades que nos van a estar acompañando. We have Arizona State University, and from Arizona State, we have Chester Henderson, Associate Director of Graduate International and Transfer and Recruitment from ASU. Welcome, Chester. Thank you for being here with us this Friday afternoon. We also have Liliana Morachis. Bienvenida, Liliana. Para los que nos acompañaron recientemente en agosto, Liliana estuvo con nosotros acá en Ciudad del Saber, así que nos conocimos en persona y fue fabuloso. La llevamos a la UTP, la llevamos a la USMA, y también a nuestros otros colegas. Saludos, Liliana. También nuestros colegas Sergio Martínez, también estuvo en Panamá recientemente. Sergio es Assistant Director in Recruitment and Partnership from Northeastern University en Boston, así que estamos contentos de tener a Sergio nuevamente, aunque de manera virtual con nosotros. Y Steven Bergman, Director of Sponsored Student Programs from NC State University. He has been in various programs with us, and he was also here in Panama in person at City of Knowledge, and we welcome you again here, albeit virtually, to talk more about how to apply for graduate school in the U.S. So, para los que no saben, de Education USA es un programa, una red de centros de asesorías a nivel global. Estamos en 175 países. Yo represento la oficina en Panamá, tenemos oficina ya en Ciudad del Saber, y nos enfocamos más que nada en 5 pasos importantes. ¿Qué pasa? En Estados Unidos hay 4,700 universidades acreditadas, 4,700 universities. That's a lot. That's a lot of options. You have big, you have small. So that the number one is trying to understand what options there are, right? O sea, ¿cuáles son las opciones? ¿Qué universidades entre tantas universidades que hay? También en términos de opciones, what do I want to study? ¿Qué quiero estudiar? Yo quiero algo en ingeniería, pero no estoy segura si ingeniería mecánica, si ingeniería química, si en computación, si en computer science. There's so many majors y tantas opciones. Entonces, hoy nos vamos a enfocar este webinar nos vamos a enfocar en la opción 1, que la opción 1 quiere decir que para que vean algunas opciones que están disponibles para ustedes, sobre todo como se acercan las convocatorias bueno, el deadline de las convocatorias de Senacid, por ejemplo, que es el 9 de noviembre, piden que sean universidades en los 250 rankings de Shanghai o QS. Entonces, por eso estamos haciendo este webinar, para darles un ejemplo de 3 instituciones en Estados Unidos que tienen esas características que piden las becas de Senacid. Sin embargo, vamos a hablar también de otras formas de financiamiento, que es el Step 2, ¿no? Cómo financiar sus posgrados. Y les vamos a dar algunos tips también para que sepan cómo tener eso, porque es importante tener plan A y plan B al momento de aplicar también. Así que es muy importante que pongan atención hoy. Nos vamos a fijar nuevamente en el Step 1 y en el Step 2 y también un poco en el Step 3. Para las becas específicamente de Senacid que cierran pronto, no necesitan necesariamente estar admitidos por el programa. Sin embargo, hay información que necesitan de la universidad y es importante que Senacid vea una congruencia en su aplicación. Si van a aplicar a esta universidad, ¿por qué? Porque ahí hay un profesor tal que está haciendo esa investigación, right? Ahí tienen una fortaleza, tienen ese laboratorio que me gusta. O sea, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? Entonces, si ya tienen una idea, si es el sur, el este, el oeste, es mucho más fácil para ustedes hacer una aplicación robusta a esa beca y muestran ya ese intercambio y ese interés por la institución, van entendiendo cómo es el presupuesto y tienen a estos tres maravillosos colegas, a Liliana, a Sergio, a Steven, que también los pueden ayudar en el proceso. Entonces, eso es muy importante, la parte del proceso de aplicación. Entonces, hoy nos vamos a enfocar en 1, 2 y 3. Nuevamente, en investigar opciones. Aquí tengo que empezar, and I have to start with this, like, why the US, right? O sea, Senacid, por ejemplo, en su caso está pidiendo universidades en los rankings, y yo sé que muchos de ustedes están, no, que lo que pasa es que el idioma, entonces me buscan para España, pero, ay, no hagan eso. O sea, yo no tengo ningún problema con universidades en España, de hecho, mi esposo hizo su maestría en España, pero es muy importante que tengan el idioma inglés. Es muy importante, sobre todo para estas carreras de ciencia, de tecnología, en temas de salud, que puedan tener eso. Entonces, eso es muy importante. También que busquen instituciones y la mayoría de las universidades del mundo de estos rankings, 250 en los tops de clase mundial están en los Estados Unidos. Entonces, yo voy a dejar que estas tres universidades también nos hablen un poquito de por qué es importante. Why is it important to look into higher education in the US, right? El tema de diversidad, y aquí los becarios, ex-becarios también pueden hablar de esto un poco. La diversidad que encuentran en las universidades en Estados Unidos no solo está con estudiantes americanos, sino también con estudiantes internacionales de todas partes del mundo. Los profesores son de todas partes del mundo. Y también en términos de flexibilidad, de repente pueden hacer un major con un minor, una concentración, pueden mezclar. Y nuevamente la parte del intercambio cultural, van a conocer amigos que van a ser amigos de toda la vida, colegas de Asia, de Europa, de todos lados. Y nuevamente es muy cerca a ustedes muchas de estas universidades. Para explicarles un poquito el tema de posgrado, yo creo que es importante entender también cómo se estructura vis-a-vis aquí en Panamá, por ejemplo. O sea, uno se gradúa del colegio, tiene los 4 años de licenciatura, por ejemplo, que lo pueden hacer aquí en la UTP, en la UMA, o sea, en una universidad local, y luego entonces pueden tener la opción de hacer su maestría. También, y en los testimonios van a poder apreciar esto, y hay muchas becas doctorales de Senacid, por ejemplo, tienen la oportunidad también de saltar directamente de la licenciatura al doctorado y hacer la maestría como parte del doctorado. Entonces, ese tipo de estrategia también funciona, así que todos los caminos llegan a Roma, depende también de lo que ustedes quieren hacer. También hoy vamos a hablar también de un poco para los que sienten como que tienen un poquito el miedo al inglés, de pathway programs o programas pathway que se pueden hacer un poquito antes de empezar el posgrado, que también pueden que también pueden tomar ventaja de esto en las diferentes universidades. Quiero aclarar que hoy no nos vamos a enfocar en Estados Unidos cuando hablamos de maestrías y doctorados, estamos hablando de posgrados. No necesariamente estamos hablando de, por ejemplo, medicina en Panamá es una licenciatura. Derecho, por ejemplo, en Panamá también es una licenciatura. Entonces, hoy no nos estamos enfocando necesariamente, por ejemplo, en las maestrías en Derecho, pero tuvimos colegas recientemente en Panamá hablando de lo que es un LLM, eso es para otra charla. Pero hoy nos estamos enfocando más en las carreras de ingeniería, en las carreras de STEM, pero con mucho gusto también tenemos esa opción de que puedan hacer maestría luego que terminan el derecho, o también hay opciones en el área de salud luego que terminan la licenciatura en medicina en Panamá, aunque es un doctorado, es realmente una licenciatura. Entonces, esto es realmente importante entender, porque en Estados Unidos lo que es derecho y lo que es medicina termina siendo un professional degree. Entonces es muy diferente a una maestría. Hoy nos vamos a enfocar en maestrías y en PhDs. Como parte de las opciones hemos tenido a lo largo de los años, hemos hecho estas ferias virtuales con más de 40 universidades. Este año tuvimos 1,100 participantes. Muchas de las universidades que nos acompañan hoy también participaron, y esta información también quedó en la plataforma para ustedes. Y también, como saben, hemos tenido eventos híbridos y college fairs. Tuvimos recientemente uno con estas 3 universidades ahorita en agosto. Así que esto es para darles información más en persona, pero sí quisimos hacer este webinar virtual para llegarle a los estudiantes del interior, viendo que estamos por cerrar la convocatoria de Senacid. Entonces, en términos de financiamiento, para ir un poquito más rápido, tenemos diferentes tipos de opciones. En Education USA, desafortunadamente nosotros no tenemos becas como tal, pero para posgrado, la Embajada de Estados Unidos tiene becas, la beca Fulbright, por ejemplo, que abren el otro año. También están las becas de OEA y tienen ayuda financiera. Vamos a estar haciendo otro webinar con ellos. Ellos estuvieron también en la feria del STEAM Open House. Ellos tienen préstamos también como de $15,000. No son becas completas, pero también apoyo. Entonces, sí es importante entender que las instituciones pueden que tengan algo de apoyo ellas mismas, y las instituciones que están con nosotros hoy también van a hablar de las posibilidades de aplicar a algo de financiamiento. Si van a un doctorado comparado a maestría, puede que haya algo de financiamiento por parte de la institución, así que es importante escuchar ese tipo de opciones. Nosotros tenemos unos documentos en Education USA que pueden acceder en este enlace, bit.ly define your priorities, y es un recurso también como para que vayan viendo, vayan haciendo ese ejercicio. Entonces es importante en la parte de financiamiento. Iba a dejar nuevamente que las universidades nos den algo de tips, pero para entender un poco, evaluar cuáles son sus fondos personales, cuáles son esos presupuestos que tienen, qué incluye, porque vamos a tener gastos de matrícula, también el costo de vida. Entender un poco eso es importante, hacer ese ejercicio de introspección de cuánto es, dónde quiero ir. También tienen que ver opciones si es una universidad pública versus una universidad privada. En Estados Unidos, que una universidad sea pública o privada no necesariamente quiere decir que sea más cara o no. Ojo, para estudiantes internacionales, la verdad es que si es una universidad privada sin fines de lucro, puede que tenga hasta becas comparadas a las becas que puede tener una universidad pública. No es como en Panamá, que una universidad privada versus una universidad pública. No es igual. Hoy vamos a tener con nosotros, por ejemplo, 2 universidades públicas y una privada, y van a ver ustedes que las opciones son un poco diferentes. El enfoque del programa también depende si estás aplicando un programa de investigación, un programa académico. Y también es importante que vean las opciones, por ejemplo, si la universidad está en una ciudad grande o si está en lo que se llama un college town, en un college, en un lugar más chico. Eso es importante que lo vean. Entonces, yo les voy a dejar aquí un enlace de un checklist donde pueden ir viendo con las opciones. Ok, si esta universidad tiene assistantship, si tiene acceso, o sea, si puedo tener acceso a algún tipo de ayuda, ese tipo de cosas es importante que las visualicen. Nuevamente, yo voy a dejar que las universidades hablen un poquito de esto, pero para posgrado es un poco diferente para pregrado. Para posgrado, pueden que las universidades tengan lo que se llaman assistantships, ya sea de investigación, como research assistantship, o para docencia, graduate assistantships. Y también depende mucho del profesor. O sea, si ya tienen el contacto con algún profesor de la UTP, lo puede poner en contacto con alguno de estos profesores en estas universidades. Eso es una buena manera también de hacer ese acercamiento. Este es el documento que les hablaba. Es como un checklist donde pueden ir viendo cuáles son mis objetivos, qué carreras me interesaría, y ese documento lo pueden bajar en este Bitly. Si quieren le pueden tomar una foto. Y ahí los va a ayudar a enfocar un poco cuáles son las necesidades que tienen, y también los va a ayudar hasta para armar el presupuesto, por ejemplo, en el caso de la beca de Senacid. Eso es muy importante que lo tengan en cuenta, tomen en cuenta lo que necesitan para sus rubros, no solo la parte de la matrícula, sino también sus gastos personales. Entonces, aquí lo que nosotros recomendamos más que nada es que hagan su investigación, y eso es muy importante. Tenemos recursos de Education USA donde pueden ir y ver, ok, estas son las opciones para graduate school. Todo esto está disponible en la página de educationusa.state.gov. Ahí pueden ver distintas opciones de becas. Nuevamente, es muy importante que revisen convocatorias anteriores, ya sea las convocatorias de Senacid anteriores, las convocatorias de Fulbright anteriores, o diferentes otros temas, para ver cuáles son esos requisitos, aunque las convocatorias no estén abiertas. Si no están programando, por ejemplo, aplicar este año, pueden ir viendo este año cuáles son los requisitos para que se vayan preparando para el próximo, por ejemplo. Entonces es muy importante el tema de los plazos y los deadlines, sobre todo cuando necesitamos financiamiento. Y finalmente, aquí les dejo con algunos otros recursos. IFA.org tiene algunos recursos para becas internacionales. Todos estos recursos se los podemos entregar a nuestros colegas regionales también. Así que depende también de lo que están buscando, de las carreras que están buscando, pueden hacer su search un poco más individual. El Gates Millennium Scholars Program, por ejemplo, tiene algo de becas. Ustedes van a ver que estas becas que hay no son muy grandes. A lo mejor lo que tienen que hacer es como ir viendo o sea, aplicar, pero ir viendo cómo pueden hacer para que le funcionen, pero son recursos que están disponibles para ustedes. El Peterson Guide también, y internationalscholarships.com. Así que estos son algunos recursos que están para ustedes disponibles. Aquí les dejo también algunos enlaces. Hay algunos aquí que son para licenciatura, pero hay unos que también tienen para posgrado. Y aquí está otro flyer que quiero que lo guarden, que se llama Aprende Posgrado USA, que también tiene un checklist de cosas que pueden ir buscando en cada una de las instituciones para irse organizando y ver cuáles son los requisitos, qué es lo que piden. Nuevamente, para terminar, estamos buscando, es importante que se vayan preparando. Cuando ustedes tienen becarios que se han ganado estas becas, no lo hacen, o sea, lo van pensando, y queremos aprovechar sobre todo que están disponibles ahora, y que traten de aplicar. Si no se la ganan, vuelven a aplicar, y así funcionan estas becas. Las becas que están abiertas ahorita mismo son las becas para las maestrías en ciencia y tecnología. Nuevamente, las 3 universidades que nos acompañan hoy están en los rankings. La información detallada de lo que pide la beca está en la página web de Senacid, y también está en el Instagram de Education USA. Nuevamente, para las becas, estas no necesitan tener la admisión de la universidad, pero sí es importante que tengan ese intercambio con la universidad, y por eso es que quisimos hacer este webinar hoy. También el 9 de noviembre cierran las becas para las maestrías en ciencias de la salud. Hoy nos estamos enfocando más en las de tecnología, pero los requisitos son similares, y estas universidades también tienen carreras de salud. Así que si algunos de ustedes están interesados en esa convocatoria, también pueden hacer preguntas al respecto. Y también Senacid tiene unas becas doctorales abiertas para lo que son humanidades y ciencias sociales. Esa sí cierra el 16 de noviembre, pero también están disponibles, así que es importante que las revisen. Así que ya para terminar, nosotros en Education USA tenemos algunos recursos para apoyarlos con el TOEFL, con el GRE, con algunos de los exámenes de admisión. Ahorita mismo estamos renovando a nuestro fellow, pero si necesitan algún apoyo con revisión de ensayos y eso, por favor, nos dejan saber. Así que este es nuestro Instagram, Education USA PTY. Ahí están la mayoría de los recursos. Van aquí en el perfil, y aquí están las grabaciones de algunos de estos de los webinars que hemos hecho anteriormente, y de los distintos eventos que tenemos. Así que los los exhortamos a que nos sigan en las redes sociales para más información. Bueno, ya, ahora sí. Creo que me extendí un poquito. I'm sorry. I think I went a little long, but I think it's important to give that overview in Spanish, and because I was seeing the names coming in, and I know we have students that are their undergrad and grad, and we have a variety of students. So all this information is important for them as well. So now I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm gonna pass the mic, and we're gonna switch to English. So stay with us and quédense con nosotros. Vamos a tener a Steven Bergman de la Universidad de NC State, North Carolina State University. Thank you.
Thanks, Gladys. All right, I get to jump in here. So let me pull up my slides. I'm going to start here by sharing a brief bit about NC State University, and then transition into some conversation about our graduate application, as well as assistantships, how they work at NC State, and how those end up being awarded. So I'm going to start just by talking about where NC State is located. We are located in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're a city of about 2.5 million people when you include all of our surrounding communities. We are a very big college town, or a small city, depending on how you want to make your definition. Definitely smaller than Panama City, though, in terms of construction. So it'll feel very different at NC State. But one of the things that we really like to pride ourselves on is our kind of rankings and livability. So we are located along the East Coast of the United States. By flight, we're about 45 minutes from Washington, D.C., an hour and 15 minutes from New York City. Very few days where we do get snow. We occasionally get snow. I think we had 11 inches one year, and it melted 3 days later. We're below freezing at our worst in the winter, just below freezing, but we're pretty warm, so it's a pretty kind of moderate climate here. But I don't want to just say that we say these great things about us. These are what other people say about Raleigh and about life in the Raleigh area. So routinely ranked one of the best places to work, one of the best places to live, one of the best places for young people entering the business field. So really cool place to be. A fun fact, Apple is moving its headquarters to the Raleigh area. Google announced their engineering hub will be based in Durham, which is where I live, about 15 minutes west of Raleigh. So it's a very dynamic, vibrant community. We are also one of, I believe, 9 universities in the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area. So there's a lot of students, very vibrant communities of university students, and students that enroll at NC State actually can form a partnership and take classes at our partner universities of Duke University and UNC Chapel Hill. So it's a great way to meet other students, connect with other professors, especially as a graduate student, to get faculty from other universities to serve on your master's thesis committee or your PhD dissertation committee. Really great way to build relationships that you can then carry on when you return home or when you move into your professional studies. So about NC State, this is a picture of my main campus, my more traditional humanities campus, but just some fast facts about our university. So we are, I believe, ranked number 270 something in the world by QS, very highly ranked when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of money for sponsored projects, which means a lot for sponsored research, which also means a lot of money for graduate assistantships. A lot of universities will have those assistantships kind of limited to their PhD students. At NC State, a lot of our programs, especially in engineering, will have research opportunities, research-funded opportunities for master's students as well. And then we're really proud about what we call research commercialization, which is taking that research that you do and your professors are doing and finding a way to turn that either into a business or bring that to market. So building on that entrepreneurial spirit. To give you a sense of my campus, you saw the picture of downtown. That is that little area right next to the name Raleigh, right there on the right-hand side of the screen. All of this is my campus. We are the entire west side of Raleigh. So North Campus was this picture here. That was the little blue, dark blue spot. Centennial Campus, this bright purple spot here at the bottom, is my engineering campus. But in terms of what we do, I think it's really important to know if you come to NC State or you're thinking about NC State, where you're going next. So these are just a handful of the organizations that actively recruit our students here on campus. And then we talk about commercialization. These are spinoffs. These are student-run, student-planned organizations that have spun off and started their own student businesses. So kind of embodying that entrepreneurial spirit. NC State's motto is think and do, and we really, really encourage the do part of the think and do. So this is my engineering campus here, that picture that I showed you, that map, that bright purple spot. This building right in the middle is my newest building on campus. It just opened in 2020. And a brief rundown of some of our major programs or some of our biggest programs. So I have 10 colleges, 160 masters, 62 PhD programs. You can find pretty much any degree program that you want, but diving into the ones that are probably of most interest to you, I really have 4 colleges that I have highlighted here. So my College of Engineering offers 18 masters and PhD programs. You can do anything from agricultural engineering to nuclear engineering, anything in between. Computer electrical engineering is, I think, is ranked number 10 in the world right now. Computer science, NC State is where SAS was founded. So very heavy in the engineering fields, but then also agriculture, anything to do with agriculture, you'll find it at NC State. There are 14 graduate programs in that. Natural resources, I've seen a lot of students come from Central and South America, really focused on natural resources management. So we have a bunch of programs in there. I believe there are about 3 or 4 others that I don't have listed here. And then in the sciences, we are kind of a laboratory sciences. We are not a medical school. We do not have a medical program, but we have a lot of medical sciences programs. So we have things like toxicology, bioinformatics, biostatistics, biochemistry, zoology. So these are the programs that we really focus on here at NC State, really the laboratory sciences. And now I'm going to switch gears quickly and talk about some graduate funding, because I want to get to that at NC State. This is a picture of my Tally student union, the outside of my student union here. So at NC State, I'm really going to focus on assistantships. We have about 5 methods of funding that you could pursue at NC State and really at a lot of institutions. There'll be assistantships, fellowships, external scholarships, government or private funding, and then your own funding. Those are the 5 big categories, but I'm going to focus here most on assistantships, as these are the most common. And then I'm going to focus on the 2 most common types within that. So there are research assistantships and teaching assistantships. In addition to that, there's a thing called kind of a graduate assistantship, where you go work for a department. It's less common. You'll do administrative work, but the research and teaching ones are the biggest and most common ones. So at NC State, if you are a research assistant, you join a professor's research team. You'll have a kind of work obligations where you'll work about 20 hours a week for a professor. The goal is to both further the research of that professor, whatever their grant project is. At the same time, that should promote your own area of study as well. The benefit of research assistantships is they are often they should be fully funding. So you should receive all of your tuition. You should receive a living stipend to cover your living expenses, so housing and food. You'll receive health insurance. The only thing that may not be covered, it depends on who the professor is whether the university's student fees can be covered. That comes down to where that money comes from, whether it's state funded or not. So it gets kind of tricky, but for the most part, they're almost all fully covered. Teaching assistantships, very similar. The goal here is to kind of further your teaching and kind of build your credential, excuse me, as a teacher, to make sure that you can be prepared to enter as a professor yourself and be prepared to teach. The only real difference here is that these are 9-month appointments. So you work for the academic year. So there's no funding for the summer months. That's the most common. And then we have partnerships with a bunch of organizations, excuse me, getting over a cold. So Cenacit, but then also organizations like SACM, Colfuturo, EasyTex, things like that, organizations like that. NC State will often waive the out-of-state tuition. So we will pay that ourselves to help your stipend, your scholarship from Cenacit or another organization go a little bit further, and you can spend a lot more of that on your personal expenses rather than having that all go towards tuition. And then many of our professors will choose to supplement whatever aid you are receiving through Cenacit. So we try to make sure that there's extra funding available to you as well. I'm going to briefly talk here about the graduate application and then turn it over to my colleagues. So the graduate application at NC State vaguely or generally will look like this. You will have to fill out an application. You'll have to submit transcripts, a resume or a CV, some standardized tests, letters of recommendation, a statement of purpose, and some programs will require an interview. You will obviously, that within standardized tests will be both an English language test and possibly the GRE. The thing to keep in mind, NC State is a GRE optional campus, but some of our individual programs, especially in engineering, will be GRE required. So when you are, if you do think about applying to NC State, please either contact me or contact the professors to make sure you know if a standardized test is required. And then for those of you who have never applied to graduate school, just this highlighted red text here, at the graduate level, the people that are making the decision about whether you are admitted or not, they are the professors that you will be learning from. They're the professors that you will be in the classroom with or in the laboratory with. So it is imperative that you get to know them, you understand their research, and you talk about your own research connections or your own interests in relation to those professors, because they will be the ones deciding whether or not to admit you. And then this is just an interior picture of my student union. A little bit more about Research Triangle Park, but we've already kind of covered that. And then if there's anything you want to know, you can see my email here. Please feel free to contact me. I would be happy to share more about NC State, life in Raleigh, and life in North Carolina. So thank you guys. And then with that, I don't remember, Lillian, am I turning it over to you, or is it going over to?
Let's go ahead and continue with Sergio.
All right.
Sergio Martinez from Northeastern University.
Well, hola, my name is Sergio Martinez. As already Gladys introduced myself, I'm the Assistant Director for Recruitment and Partnerships at Northeastern University. I will be mixing between Spanish and English. I'm Mexican, but I think at the same time it will be good for the purpose of this session. So I'm also gonna start sharing my screen. So just hold just 1 second. Can you confirm that you're able to see it?
Yes, just put presentation mode, but yeah, we can see it.
Perfect.
Great. Gracias.
So now I think it's presentation mode. So yes, thank you, Gladys. So just to move forward with the conversation, thank you for Gladys and Education USA Panama for allowing us to give this information to all Panama students. So about Northeastern, I'm going to start as well as my colleague Steven from NC State, give you just a quick introduction about Northeastern. So we are ranked amongst the best, well, we are number 2, we are now currently the 52 top ranked university in the US, but we are number 1 when we talk about co-op and internships. So this is something that I will highlight later in my presentation about job opportunities and employment for international students. And we have over 3,000 employer partners that are actually going to help with these co-op opportunities. So now Northeastern, probably you have heard that we are located in Boston, but now we're talking ourselves about the global campus network of Northeastern, being Boston the main campus historically, but also we have many campuses around the US and in Canada and now in the UK. So we're trying to get to those places with the same education model that Northeastern have shared over the last 100 years that we were founded. So just to give you a bit of an overview about Boston, contrary to NC State, we do have snow, a lot of snow. It can get very cold, not only in Boston, but in all of New England. And so this is just where you can see the border red line. That's the campus that it's located in Boston. So it's very centric to Boston. As the slide shows, we have 4 subway stops on campus, and it's a huge campus. And moving forward about graduate programs, just to say that we have 9 colleges, obvious as well. Similar to NC State, we can basically offer any area of study that you can think of. For the purpose of this, I will highlight as well some colleges for STEM, as the Curry College of Computer Science, the College of Engineering, and the College of Science, for instance, or Bouvet College of Health Sciences. So those are the ones that I will highlight regarding STEM. Just give you some examples. For instance, in the College of Science, which programs you can have. So this is only for you to see some of our offer, and then for the health sciences, for instance, and again, and one of the things that I wanted to stop, it's about our cooperative education, as we call it, or co-op. So basically, this is for international students can apply. When they go to the US, they go with an F1 visa that allows, in the first place, just to work part-time in campus for 20 hours, for less than 20 hours. But as many of our programs are CPT programs, this means there are course practitioner training programs. This means that you can, in the program that you are that you are studying, you can apply for a co-op. So that means similar to an internship, but it's not an internship, and you will gain some actually real experience from a company that you will have a position. So for instance, if you're doing a master's of engineering, a mechanical engineering, or data science, or master of data science, we'll look a co-op opportunity for the student in one company that actually offers that kind of the same area of study. For instance, data science, we will look for options at high-tech companies, for instance, Amazon, Google, Apple, and this will give the student obviously the opportunity to gain at the same time professional experience, but also to apply what they are learning in classes. So you can do a co-op at Northeastern for a period of 4 months, 6 months, or 8 months, and most of these co-ops are full paid, they are full time, and at the same time you will get, well, obviously the opportunity to work in a company in the US. But for instance, if you're studying in the Boston campus, that co-op opportunity can be, for example, be in Seattle. It doesn't have to be in Boston. And so that's kind of our education model at Northeastern. So regarding some for applying, just to give some other insights from what Stephen has shared already, is obviously to do a wise research about what you're looking for to study. You can connect always with the university. If you want to scan that QR code, you can connect in an online session with the university. Obviously, you have to work hard on your statement of purpose, and allow obviously time for multiple draft. And just to give you an example, because now as I mentioned before about Northeastern being now a global campus network, I'm just sharing some specific information. For instance, for one of our newest campuses that we have, that it's located in Portland, Maine. So this is only an hour and a half away driving from Boston. And this campus obviously as well kind of provides the same learning opportunities that in Boston. We are looking for the same, always the same opportunities, doesn't matter which campus you're studying at. So this campus is called actually the Rue Institute, and is named after David Rue. So it was one benefactor that we had that is from Maine, and wanted to partner with Northeastern to give more academic opportunities for people in Maine, and also for economic growth in the state. So we are located, as I mentioned, this campus is located in Portland, Maine. It is less than 2 hours away from Boston. So it's in the state of Waterfront campus, and well, the campus is there. So we have a lot of extensive experiential learning opportunities, as I mentioned, for co-ops, and we have more than 100 industry partners in Maine as well to get those opportunities. So these are some pictures of Maine. It's obviously a smaller city than Boston, but it's also in New England, so you will get kind of the same vibe, but smaller. So or some pictures of our campus, and the good thing about this campus is that we are creating an innovation hub for Maine, where there are learning opportunities, research opportunities, but at the same time, we are developing entrepreneurship among our students, faculty, and the community. And just obviously, since all of the campus are obviously smaller than Boston campus, we offer less programs, but still you will get the same experience in each of the programs that are offered within our campuses. So this is just to highlight a little bit what the programs are offered in this specific campus. And one other thing that I wanted to highlight about this campus is that through the Alphen Scholarship Initiative in that campus, you can get access to a 25,000 scholarship for tuition for international students in each of the programs that I listed in the slide before. So for now, this campus is the only one offering a scholarship for international students. And hopefully, if you consider not only Northeastern, but more specifically the Rue Institute in that in the STEM programs, obviously you can have that opportunity for the scholarship. And well, this is the list of some of the industry partners that campus works with, and at the same time, just replicating the same feeling of being in the Boston campus, that we have an Office of Global Services that you will get all the support, and obviously you'll have academic advisors, career advisors, co-op advisors, and all you need. And so this is from my part. I thank you for your time, and looking forward for any questions that you may have.
Great. See, we're going to be answering the questions towards the end, and I saw that there are already some questions coming in. Así que we're going to continue now with Arizona State University. Chester Henderson, take it over.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm so excited to be here, as the others have stated. In the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, Lily and I are going to talk about what it means to be a Sun Devil, a student here at ASU, but then also give you some funding opportunities and talk to you about some pathways that we have here at Arizona State University. So with that being said, let's get started. So we always like to start off all of our presentations with the ASU Charter because it really defines what we do here at the university. And I'm not going to read it all for you all. I am going to highlight one specific part, which is here at Arizona State University, we are interested in advancing research and discovery for the public value. And so we really assume the responsibility of our community, not only our community here at ASU, but then also our surrounding communities around each of our campus and locations. And so we really dive into this idea of research and discovery. And so if you did not know, ASU is one of the largest public institutions in the nation, and we really invest our time and energy into this idea of research. We are ranked #1 in innovation, ahead of MIT and Stanford, and that is for a reason. Because we dedicate over $600 million in research expenditures each year, because we encourage not only our faculty and staff to conduct research, we also encourage our students to conduct research. And so if you're interested in research, Arizona State University is the place for you. We are one university in many places model, and so what that means, with us being such a large institution, we want to ensure that we're providing the resources and tools that students need in order for them to be successful post-graduation. And so we have 4 different campuses in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Each of them are about 30 minutes away from each other, but we do offer an inter-campus shuttle that takes students to each of our campuses. I was a student at ASU, and I actually took classes between ASU Tempe and ASU West. And so it's a very quick shuttle ride. It has Wi-Fi on board, restrooms, and AC. And so being in Arizona, our average temperature is going to be around 75 degrees. Today is actually going to be like 72, 73. So very beautiful weather here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Also located here in Arizona, about 4 hours north of us, we have our location at Lake Havasu, which hosts some of our graduate programs. And then we have a location south of us in Yuma, Arizona, a very small city, urban city, rural city, I'm sorry, but hosts some of our graduate programs as well. But then one of the cool things about ASU is that you don't even physically have to be here in Arizona in order for you to stay connected with Arizona State University. We also have 2 other locations, one in Los Angeles and then another one in Washington, D.C. And so if you're interested in film, theater, why not study in the heart of the entertainment district? So Los Angeles. Or if you're interested in government and policy or political science, why not study literally down the street from the White House, where decisions is being made every day for our country. And so we really encourage students to take advantage of these resources and these opportunities to study within those realms to really further their education and really further their emphasis within the field that they are studying in. And why not have that experience prior to even graduating from an institution? And so at Arizona State University, we are able to give you that. In addition to our locations, if you never want to step foot on any of our locations, so LA, Washington, D.C., or in the Phoenix metropolitan area, you don't have to, because we have over 400 degrees that are going to be offered completely online. So you never physically have to be in Arizona if you do not want to, but we do have some opportunities for you if you do want to gain that connection to ASU. And so talking about our application process, really diving into that, we have some tips as we're going through the process. And so as I stated, ASU is the largest public institution in the nation. So we have over 450 degree options at ASU. Both of those are going to be offered online. We have some options in person, and then we also have a hybrid model for some of our programs as well. So no matter what type of modality you're looking for, ASU has that for you. And so the degree programs, the degree search search tool, the degree search tool is going to really allow you to gain more of an understanding of our programs that we have to offer. There you will have a keyword box that will allow you to enter in any keyword. So you can enter in business, health, medical, whatever you want to enter in there, and it will narrow down the opportunities that are specific to that keyword. It will narrow down to the programs that have that keyword listed in the major, but then also narrow down to the opportunities that are very similar to that keyword. At that time, you are able to search through or browse through a few of our programs, and after reviewing the degree program page, understanding what we expect you to learn in the program, you also have the ability to compare up to 3 programs within that same tool. And so if you have an idea of 3 programs that you're interested in, compare them and see, how they line up side by side. Because at that point, you're able to see the required list of courses or the plan of study. You are also able to see the career outlook. So where our students typically go after graduation. And so after comparing those, you're able to see exactly which program really aligns with your long-term goal. And you can do that all within the degree search tool. That link is going to be found up in the top left-hand corner. And so make sure that you're jotting that down to get access to the degree program pages. Another important piece about the degree program pages is that this is where you're going to be able to find the admissions requirements and deadlines for each of our programs. It will vary depending on the program that you are interested in. So you want to make sure that you're referencing the degree program page to understand exactly the deadlines and the admissions requirements for that particular program. So with that being said, jumping into general requirements that we're going to be looking for as you're going through the application process here at Arizona State University. And so what you will need to do is, 1, complete an online application. We're going to ask for personal information. We're going to ask for, your contact information, your, where you're living. So your demographic information, all of that is going to be found in the application. Also, the program that you're applying to will also be listed within the program. There is also an application fee that will have to be submitted at the time of application as well. But then you will have something called supplemental materials. Those are going to be requirements or additional requirements that are listed by your academic degree program. And so that's where the degree search tool is going to come in handy to help you get connected with what supplemental materials are needed for your program. And so after reviewing that degree program page and understanding the admissions requirements, then at that point, you are ready to move forward and submit an application to ASU. But before you do that, let me provide you some tips of what you should expect. So the supplemental materials are going to be either a personal statement or a statement of purpose, resume or cover letter, writing samples, portfolios, interviews, professional experience. And so it will vary depending on the program. So I really wanted to highlight a few common supplemental materials that you may find in your program requirements. And so one is going to be, I'm going to pass that over to Lily. So before I pass it over to Lily, one is going to be the personal statement. There may be an opportunity between a personal statement or a statement of purpose. Your personal statement is going to highlight why you are a best fit for the program. So this is your opportunity to really talk about yourself, brag about yourself, have fun with it, because this is really talking about why you're a strong suit for that particular program. Whereas the statement of purpose is really going to focus on your research. What are you researching at the moment? How that research aligns with the academic department. And so you want to get connected with the academic department to get connected with the faculty members and the research opportunities that are currently happening. And you can do all of that working with the academic department. Then you have your professional experiences. And so you may have opportunities to submit letters of recommendation. There are many opportunities for you to do that as far as the individuals that you would like to select for your letters. But some tips or suggestions that I have for you is, especially depending on how many letters of recommendation is needed for your particular program, I will strongly encourage you to, 1, have an academic or a professor or a faculty member speak to your ability to complete your program, complete coursework, your involvement within the classroom. So really highlighting one academic reference. So that could be a faculty member, that could be a researcher, so someone that you're doing research with, anyone within the academic arena that can really speak to your academic ability. Your second one is going to be your professional experience. And so that's going to be anybody that can speak to you outside of the classroom. And so you always want to make sure that you're having those individuals really kind of highlight strong suits and what you bring to whether that's a classroom or to your work. You really want to make sure to highlight that. And the best way to do that, to make sure that they are able to provide you a very supportive and strong letter of recommendation, is applying your resume and cover letters to these individuals that you tap as well. That's a strong tip that I can offer you at this moment, because after reviewing that resume, after reviewing that cover letter, those references will have the ability to go in and write exactly who you are as an individual and what you have accomplished up until that point. And so providing them all of the resources and tools to be able to write a strong letter of recommendation for you is always the best bet. And then always start the process early. I'm sure that my colleagues will also promote this as well. Starting the process early will really benefit you more than hurt you. That will allow you to get through the application process, gain an admission into the university, and really focus on those funding opportunities. So assistantships, applying for scholarships, applying for government aid, whatever it is, allow yourself some time in order for you to start that process. And then I'm going to pass it over to Liddy for our English programs, and then I'm going to switch back over to me to talk about our funding opportunities.
Gracias, Chester. Pues bueno, lo voy a dar en español. Bienvenidos a todos, porque sé que algunos de ustedes están viendo todas estas oportunidades que tenemos en las 3 universidades que estamos presentando el día de hoy. Y como ustedes sabrán, necesitamos saber el inglés. Puede ser que ustedes ya tengan un TOEFL, un IELTS o incluso un Duolingo, que es el que pueden presentar como parte de su experiencia para probar su nivel de inglés. Pero ¿qué pasa con aquellos que dicen, bueno, a lo mejor todavía no estoy ahí, o simple y sencillamente no sé si voy a poder en el curso, quiero saber si estoy al nivel de tomar una clase de inglés en el extranjero? Aquí con nosotros en Arizona State University tenemos el programa que se llama Global Launch. Global Launch es un curso que tiene 6 niveles. Cada uno de estos niveles es más o menos de 8 semanas. Sin embargo, cuando ustedes quieren entrar con nosotros en el programa, van a hacer un pequeño examen para saber en qué nivel están. O sea, no necesariamente tienen que empezar del primero. Los programas que ofrecemos para inglés pueden ser dentro de aquí del campus o pueden ser en línea. Me ha tocado personalmente trabajar con estudiantes de Panamá que prefieren tomar este programa en línea desde la comodidad de su casa para ver cómo están con nosotros, y luego ya después llegan más con un nivel de inglés más fuerte. En el caso de que ustedes estudien con nosotros este programa de inglés, no necesitan presentar después un TOEFL, un IELTS o un Duolingo. Simple y sencillamente, al momento de que tú te gradúas de este programa, ya tienes los documentos necesarios o tienes la experiencia necesaria para poder empezar cualquier curso de maestría o de un programa de licenciatura aquí con nosotros. Algo que sí quiero recalcar es que este programa de inglés es muy particular a Arizona State University. Puede ser que mis compañeros tengan otros programas de inglés dentro de su universidad. Este programa de inglés te va a ayudar a que tengas todos esos, como les dije, esos requisitos, pero es simplemente para entrar con nosotros a estudiar lo que es la maestría. Si tienen alguna otra duda, la pueden poner aquí en el chat. Pero bueno, nos encantaría poder contestarlas, sobre todo porque sé que este programa de inglés ha ayudado a muchos estudiantes a sentir que se sienten bien académicamente y, en el caso del idioma, preparados para continuar con su maestría aquí con nosotros. Chester, you're next.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. All right, so now we're going to jump into financial aid, scholarships, and some assistantship opportunities that we offer here at Arizona State University. So to get us started, one, we like to connect you with the ASU Tuition Estimator. The ASU Tuition Estimator is going to give you the cost that it will cost you to sit in the classroom. And so you will have the opportunity to go in and enter in some demographic information about yourself, and then it will provide you a breakdown between fall and spring that will allow you to see what it would cost for you to sit in the classroom. So that would be tuition and fees. If you would like to see the standard cost of attendance, which will also talk about books and supplies. We'll also talk about transportation to and from campus. We'll also talk about living accommodations. That will really provide you a budget of what you should be thinking about when you're thinking about your transition to ASU. You're able to find that on the same link underneath the breakdown of fall and spring. You're able to click on the standard cost of attendance to understand exactly what you should be budgeting for when you're making this transition over to Arizona State University. In addition to that, after understanding what it's going to cost you, we have many opportunities here at Arizona State University to allow you to reduce your cost of education. A few of those are going to be one, student employment opportunity. A lot of our graduate students actually gain student employment opportunities here on campus, whether that is hourly, a management intern, a graduate assistantship, a research assistantship, or a teaching assistantship. You do have a multitude of different areas that students can conduct or can work within those assistantships. And so we really encourage the students to connect with their academic departments and really understand where their students are typically getting assistantships at. At that point, usually they are able to connect you with direct resources. For me, for instance, I got connected with my academic advisor, and that was the way that I was able to get connected directly with my graduate assistantship, which helped reduce the cost of my education significantly. So I encourage students to start this process early so that you can go through the interview process and learn more about those assistantships. On the next slide, I'm going to give you more information about where you can find those assistantships, awards, and fellowships, and other opportunities at ASU, in addition to the student employment page that you can find here. And then below, we have our scholarship portal. Our scholarship portal is going to be a rolling portal that students can always access throughout the year. And we encourage students to continuously apply for scholarships, not only to apply for scholarships upon admission into the university. You should always spend 30 minutes, an hour, a month, a week to really just go in and apply for different scholarship opportunities. And at Arizona State University, we make that opportunity very easy for you. There is going to be, if you're logged into your student profile, there is going to be a button on the student on the scholarship portal that will allow you to click it for many of our scholarships, and it will pull in all of your information from your profile and insert that into the scholarship that allows you to just hop in and complete any statement of purpose that you need, or personal statement or letters of recommendation that you may need for that particular scholarship. But that's one opportunity that we encourage and also allow you to really kind of swiftly get through some of those scholarship opportunities. Another way is going to be through a filter system that we offer on the webpage as well. The filter system is very comprehensive. It offers you many fields. Sometimes students go through and enter in all of the fields. One tip that I have for you is don't do that. There is a bar on that scholarship portal or on that filter that lets you know this is very, very limiting because it will contradict itself. So go in and enter in 2 filters at a time, and then that will narrow down the graduate opportunities scholarships specifically for you. From there, you can click on them individually and see which ones you are eligible for, because it will have the scholarship information at the top, the dollar amount, and the criteria. If you find that you meet that criteria for that particular scholarship, you can just scroll down and click apply now or the application link, and that's going to take you to the scholarship application to begin that process to submit that application. In addition to that, you have opportunities through our graduate college to help you fund your education as well. And so at the bottom, you have your awards and fellowships, you have your graduate assistantships, other distinguished awards, and there's other funding opportunities based on your population. The link up at the top is going to allow you to get connected with these resources and also explore more opportunities here at Arizona State. One of the cool things about having 4 campuses is that you have many more opportunities to gain opportunities for assistantships and student employment opportunities. And so you have that intercampus shuttle that will allow you to get to and from any of our campuses, as long as you are making it to one of our nearest campuses. And so you have many opportunities to really get connected with some funding here at ASU and then help you reduce your cost of education. But myself and my team, we are always here to support students through the process, especially as they're going through and searching for funding opportunities and wanting to get connected with their academic department. We are here to support you through that process. And so with that being said, I'm going to pass it back over to Lily to talk about CPT and OPT, and then we will be concluding.
This is going to be something very simple, because we know that many students are always, especially international students, are always asking the question, hey, can I work while I'm studying, in the US? So the answer to that is yes, you can. There are 2 things that we call CPT and OPT. And I know that this is not a session for visas and you know, the requirements, but I just want you to look here, as well as my other colleagues were showing some of the top employers that we have here at Arizona State University. Not only that, I want you to look at the alumni network that it's at the bottom of your screen, where it says how many other Sun Devils, as the way that we call ourselves, are in the United States and around the world. So to the answer that questions, yes, we do have many opportunities. Being an international student, you can do some of your you know, your professional work during an internship during the summer, during the semester, and there are some other opportunities with your visa after you graduate, as long as you work in your field of study. So I don't know if I went too fast, but this is what is you know, Arizona State University. And just to wrap it up, these are some of the facts and some of the rankings that are super proud of. Perhaps the one that we're more proud of is the one that you will see in the first column all the way to the top, that we are the #1 in the US for innovation. So that means that innovation is the way that we breathe, it's the way that we work. So here at Arizona State University, you're going to be for sure that you're going to have, you know, professors that are in the best labs that you can imagine, all the research programs that we have, the funding that we have for those programs. So when Gladys was mentioning, hey, prepare your statement when you're, you know, applying for this scholarship in Senacid, well, go into our website, look at the projects that we're working on. We have over 16 colleges. So I'm pretty sure that you're going to find the program that you're interested in. There might be a research already in the process. So with that being said, also we are the top 10 graduate programs in fine arts, in many other areas. So we look forward to hear from you. If you have any questions, I know that we're going to answer some right now here in the chat, but you can also contact us at any time and we'll be happy to help you with this process. Thank you for everybody. And Gladys?
That was great. So much information. So the good thing is that this is all being recorded. So thank you again, all of you, everybody, Liliana, Edson, well, Edson's coming up, Steven, Sergio, and Chester, who just logged off. So so now we're going to continue with the program, and we're accepting questions in both languages. So please make sure you write them all down so we can answer them. So now we're going to have with you Edson Galarza, Dr. Edson Galarza. Edson, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and he's going to speak primarily in Spanish about his story, but he's a PhD from Northeastern University. He's also a Senacid scholar. He's from Macaracas. So next time Lilian and you guys come down, we have to take you to that part of Panama. It's a beautiful part of Panama. And he's actually faculty at UTP, and he works in one of the research centers. So I want him to talk about the great things he's doing so that he can motivate other students that are listening, so that they can also ask them questions directly, but also get a little bit of inspiration.
All right, everybody. I'm going to talk in Spanish, mostly because Gladys asked me to do so. So, yes, just to make a quick introduction a todos. Mi nombre es Edson Galagarza. Actualmente soy profesor en la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá. Hice mis estudios de maestría y doctorado en NorthEastern University entre el 2015 y el 2020. Me gradué de la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá y con orgullo puedo decir que mi escuela primaria fue en un pueblito, en mi tierra en Macaracas. Mi colegio secundario, la mitad de mi colegio secundario lo hice ahí mismo en Macaracas también, y luego me gradué en el José Daniel Crespo. Así que todo mi background antes de llegar a la universidad fue escuela pública y mi universidad fue pública. Así que no hay ningún problema con nada de eso en preparación. Si uno tiene la disposición, es posible hacerlo. Yo preparé aquí unos cuantos slides para presentarles acerca de cómo fue mi experiencia en...
Puedes compartir, Edson.
Dame un segundo. ¿Pueden ver aquí? ¿Pueden ver todos?
Ahora sí, solo ponlo en presentation mode. Ajá.
Sí. Mi experiencia como becario en Northeastern University, bueno, yo fui admitido para un programa de beca, me gané una beca con el programa de maestría y doctorado de IFARU Senacid, un programa conjunto entre IFARU y Senacid. Lo abrieron, no sé si lo están abriendo todos los años, pero este fue el del 2014. Yo
Sí, este año lo
apliqué.
abrieron también.
Ajá, yo apliqué y muchas otras personas aplicaron. Y tengo que decirles con claridad, muchas de estas becas a veces se quedan sin gente que aplique porque hay muchas oportunidades y la gente simplemente está confundida y no aplican. Y una gran parte de los que aplicaron lograron su cometido de obtener una beca. Yo me fui en el 2015. Sin embargo, ahí sí debo aclarar que cuando yo me fui admitido para un programa de doctorado directamente de pregrado de mi licenciatura en ingeniería a doctorado y estaba limitado en tiempo. Yo les advertí, ok, nada más voy a tener 4 años para beca, pero yo voy a necesitar al menos 5. Así que yo pedí extensión. Mi programa fue de 2015 al 2020, 5 años. Eh, Tuve la oportunidad de reunir los requisitos necesarios para una maestría, presenté una tesis y en el 2018 saqué mi máster en Ingeniería Eléctrica, Communication Control and Signal Processing en el Colegio de Ingeniería de Northeastern University. Y la beca cubrió todo, mi matrícula, cubrió los gastos de estadía, cubrió otros gastos. Aunque sí debo admitirle que también gasté bastante dinero de mi propio fondo, pero eso fue más que todo por la forma en la que planeé quedarme allá. Los amigos que hice en Northern University no los cambio por nada. Todavía al día de hoy tenemos grupos de WhatsApp, hablamos todos los días e incluso vinieron a mi boda y seguimos en contacto. Aprendí a hacer muchas cosas, aprendí a vivir full de independiente, a valerme por mí mismo en su totalidad. Aprendí a cocinar, hacía pan, hacía comida, hacía de todo. eh, y bueno, aquí podemos ver, adjuntar algunas fotos. Ahí tenemos a la derecha arriba, estoy yo con mi advisor, el doctor Edwin Marengo, del Colegio de Ingeniería. Estamos teniendo un meeting de investigación. En la parte de abajo estaba cuando yo pertenecí a la Asociación de Estudiantes de Doctorado de la Universidad NEPSA, también formaba parte del team, yo era el camarógrafo, yo editaba los videos, yo hacía la media, en ese entonces no había algo así como social media manager, no era algo tan común, pero yo era el encargado. Aparte de eso le dábamos ayuda a los estudiantes en los meetings. Era una sociedad muy bonita con mis compañeros. Todos los que aparecen ahí son internacionales, Medio Oriente, de Asia, de Europa, de todas partes. Ahí a mano izquierda abajo ven el lugar donde yo hacía investigación, Egan Research Center. Ahí en el sótano había un laboratorio, ahí estábamos nosotros haciendo investigación en óptica y electromagnetismo. Eh, Como profesor en Northern University, yo tuve la oportunidad de ser beneficiado con un Teaching Assistantship en mi último año, porque como les conté, en mi último año yo mismo tuve que dar un funding, mi propio dinero, porque fue una extensión. Sin embargo, les puedo garantizar que los fondos que conseguí en la universidad trabajando como profesor fueron más que suficientes para valérmelas allá. Fue muy, muy bueno. Me recortaron los gastos básicamente me hicieron bypass de los gastos de matrícula. Yo di clases, tuve una experiencia espectacular siendo profesora ya 2 semestres seguidos. Me dieron una clase entera. Yo fui profesor de circuitos y señales con aplicaciones biomédicas, y en mi segundo semestre fui profesor de laboratorio. Era una materia que era en sí laboratorio, no es que era asistente. Entonces, tuve la oportunidad de darle clases a muchos estudiantes de todas las nacionalidades. Habían asiáticos, mexicanos, habían de todos tipos de, estudiantes. Ahí en la parte derecha arriba pueden ver una imagen de del momento exacto en el que Massachusetts declaró the state of emergency. Eso fue 20 de marzo, bueno, 10 de marzo, March 10th, del año 2020. En ese momento cerraron los aeropuertos de aquí de Panamá y fue difícil porque cuando yo regresé en pandemia, en vuelo humanitario. Aún así, mi experiencia fue extraordinaria, no la cambio por nada. En cuanto a Boston, bueno, Boston es un espectáculo de ciudad, muy bonito. Estas fotos que están aquí, por cierto, las tomé todas yo. A mí me gusta mucho la fotografía. El campus de Boston es espectacular durante todo el año. Durante enero tenemos nieve, desde el principio lo que nosotros conocemos como verano. La nieve puede acumularse muy rápidamente. Boston es muy conocido por sus nevadas violentas. Durante el verano, el summer, tienes un clima muy parecido al de Panamá, es muy bonito. La gente sale, hace de todo. Durante el fall, en la foto de la derecha de arriba, los árboles se tornan de otro color y ya el ambiente es un espectáculo. Los atardeceres son increíbles en Boston, rojo fuego, eran muy bonitos tomarle fotos. Eh, y bueno, lo único que no me gustaba del invierno era que se anochecía muy temprano. Gets dark pretty early, around 4 p.m. It's already night. So, and, pero el resto es muy bonito. Yo tuve la oportunidad de vivir en 3 barrios diferentes cuando estuve en Boston y todos fueron una experiencia muy buena para mí. Eh, en Boston el transporte público es muy bueno también, no hay que preocuparse por, me voy a comprar un carro, me tengo que comprar una, usa un bus y un tren y vas a todos lados. Eh, Finalmente puedo decir que después cuando regresé logré incorporarme a la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá. Actualmente soy profesor en la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá, en la Facultad de Ingeniería Eléctrica. Algunos de mis estudiantes, de hecho, están conectados actualmente en esta reunión. Eh, eh, Junto con otros colegas, los ven ahí en la mano izquierda, el doctor Carlos Medina, la doctora Maite Zambrano, el doctor Fernando Arias y yo dirigimos un laboratorio de investigación, se llama GITS, Grupo de Investigación en Tecnología Avanzada de Telecomunicación y Procesamiento de Señal. It's a bit of a mouthful, es un nombre bien largo. Entonces, nosotros hacemos investigaciones en varios temas de la ingeniería eléctrica. Por ejemplo, aquí abajo pueden ver algunos del equipo que tenemos de imagenología hiperespectral, equipos de óptica. En la parte de arriba pueden ver uno de los drones que tenemos con la cámara que se usa para hacer tomas aéreas. Uno de los drones submarinos que también me pueden ver en la mano derecha abajo armándolo cuando nos llegó. Y bueno, nosotros hemos logrado conseguir financiamiento de Senacid con muchos proyectos. Actualmente, en la última apertura de oportunidades, obtuvimos 2 nuevos proyectos, también en el área de imagenología y eh, tenemos, por ejemplo, participación constante con entidades del gobierno, con toda empresa privada. Aquí pueden ver por lo menos 3 artículos de periódico en los que nosotros cerramos proyectos y hablamos acerca de lo que hacemos en inteligencia artificial, en análisis de sentimientos basado en inteligencia artificial, en imagenología, en agricultura y en muchas otras áreas que son de gran interés para el país. Así que espero no haberlos aburrido. Esa fue una muy corta intervención de lo que hacemos. Espero les haya gustado y sépanlo que lo único que puedo decirles a todos es que no cambiaría nunca esa experiencia por nada. Eh, es algo que hay que experimentarlo fuera de Panamá para entonces comprender lo que es ser un ciudadano del mundo.
Eso me encantó. Así que sí se puede, ya tienen la historia real y realmente recién, Edson, de tu experiencia. Ahora vamos a continuar porque yo sé que tenemos varias preguntas, pero gracias por eso. Victoria Serrano, ¿estás ahí? Ah, ok. Hola Victoria, Victoria nos acompaña desde la República de Chiriquí.
Un saludo, muchísimas gracias por la invitación. Así que yo encantada de compartirles un poquito de mi experiencia cuando me fui a estudiar a los Estados Unidos, un poquito antes de Edson, así que igual les voy a compartir un poco de lo que hice mientras estuve allá, ¿ok? Entonces les voy a compartir. Me indican si ya se ve la pantalla, por favor.
Sí.
Bueno, aquí yo me fui en el 2010, ¿ok? Yo participé en una convocatoria de beca Fulbright que se promocionan por medio de la Embajada de los Estados Unidos y bueno, tuve la oportunidad de irme en el 2010, enero del 2010, a Arizona State University y allí hice mi programa, sí, saludos. Em, ahí tuve mi oportunidad de hacer mi programa preacadémico, que es el curso de inglés, que ahora se llama Global Launch. Antes se llamaba, no recuerdo, pero tenía un nombre diferente, AECP, ¿ok? American Cultural and English Center, creo que era algo así, o Program al final. Y bueno, ahí estuve por 6 meses. Es uno de los beneficios que tiene el ser becario Fulbright, que generalmente se cubre un programa preacadémico para los que no teníamos un nivel de inglés muy bueno. Entonces, se encarga el programa dependiendo de qué tan bueno o qué tan malo es el nivel de inglés que uno tiene en el momento, entonces así lo mandan una cierta cantidad de meses. Yo estuve por 6 meses, desde enero hasta julio. Y allí en agosto enseguida empecé con mi programa de maestría. Yo estuve en el campus en Tempe y allí pues yo me enamoré de Tempe. Un college town. En realidad no es una ciudad grande, pero yo me enamoré de Tempe y yo dije, si a mí me aceptan en el programa de maestría aquí en ASU, yo me quiero quedar en ASU. Y bueno, yo fui aceptada en ASU para el programa de maestría y entonces inicié en agosto del 2010 hasta mayo del 2012. Hice mis 2 años de maestría con el apoyo de Fulbright Las PAU. Y bueno, aquí les comparto un par de imágenes de cuando yo estuve allá en ASU. Lo bueno de estas experiencias es que no solamente le dan la oportunidad a uno de formarse profesionalmente con un título de maestría o de doctorado, sino que también es toda la parte cultural que esto involucra. La parte a nivel personal, por supuesto, el crecimiento es algo que, todo el crecimiento es un crecimiento integral y es algo que no tiene precio. Y a nivel cultural, por lo menos en este programa de inglés, nos incluían algunas actividades que eran propiamente de vivir en Estados Unidos. Entonces, allí tuve la oportunidad de ir a juegos de la NBA, juegos de las grandes ligas, que para los panameños, pues que somos seguidores de béisbol, pues siempre veíamos eso como un sueño, así que también tuvimos la oportunidad de ir allí. Tuve la oportunidad de ir al Gran Cañón. La primera vez es cuando tengo ese jacket blanco. Allí en ese momento había nieve. Fue la primera vez en toda mi vida que había visto nieve porque antes de eso no la conocía. Pero igual yo me hice parte de varias organizaciones estudiantiles mientras estuve en ASU. Una de esas, por supuesto, la de los becarios Fulbright, que allí le da la oportunidad de interactuar un poco más cercano, porque sí uno va a tener interacción con personas de muchas partes del mundo, pero con la asociación Fulbright que teníamos en la universidad, ya teníamos un contacto un poco más cercano y ahí tuve la oportunidad de conocer gente de Afganistán, de Bangladesh, de India, de América Latina, por supuesto, pero de muchas partes del mundo. Entonces, eso también nos daba la oportunidad de organizar nuestras propias actividades y por eso yo pude ir al Gran Cañón en más de una ocasión. También tuve la oportunidad de involucrarme con organizaciones estudiantiles que promovían la educación a nivel universitario con los grupos, los minoritarios. En especial, yo trabajaba mucho con chicos de descendencia hispana en los Estados Unidos porque, pues, sabemos una realidad allá es que no son la mayoría los que estudian a nivel universitario. Entonces, los tratábamos de motivar y ver que la inversión en una carrera de las áreas STEM vale la pena. Y de ahí entonces es esa foto que ven en la parte de abajo, que allí pues estaba yo sosteniendo un robot de Lego, y con eso también dábamos a conocer un poco la organización estudiantil y también motivar a chicos, jóvenes de todas edades para que se interesaran por estas carreras STEM. Y pues la imagen que está en la parte de arriba, a la mano izquierda, pues el día de mi graduación, ya cuando había culminado no solamente la maestría, allí había terminado el doctorado. Importante, yo me fui con una beca Fulbright para hacer mi maestría, pero para hacer mi doctorado, mientras estuve en Estados Unidos, yo apliqué a una beca CENACYT y apliqué, por supuesto, al doctorado en la misma universidad. Ya les dije que yo quedé encantada con Tempi. Y yo apliqué y me gané también entonces la beca para continuar a nivel de doctorado. Entonces yo hice maestría y doctorado en la misma universidad y por supuesto el programa preacadémico que era el inglés. Así que estuve por un periodo de 6 años y medio en los Estados Unidos. Em, entonces, bueno, ya les conté un poco de cómo hice mis estudios de maestría, cómo hice mis estudios de doctorado. Actualmente yo soy profesora a tiempo completo e investigadora en la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá, en el Centro Regional de Chiriquí, en la Facultad de Ingeniería Eléctrica. Mi especialización dentro de ingeniería eléctrica, porque hay muchas áreas, fue en sistemas de control. Y yo como he tenido la oportunidad de trabajar en algunos proyectos de investigación. De hecho, cuando yo me regresé del doctorado, ya yo venía con fondos para desarrollar un proyecto acá en Panamá. Y también cuando estuve acá durante los primeros 6 meses, apliqué a CENACYT para proyecto de investigación con la misma, relacionado al mismo tema que hice del doctorado, y también ganamos los fondos para poder trabajar en ese proyecto. En la actualidad tengo un proyecto de investigación. Esto lo traduje, pero en realidad los fondos como vienen de Estados Unidos también está en el título debería ser en inglés, pero es cerrando la brecha en educación en ingeniería para personas con discapacidad, y esto es financiado por EPICS y IEEE. IEEE o IEEE es la organización profesional más grande a nivel mundial, tiene muchísimas ramas y una de las ramas se encarga de apoyar iniciativas que tengan que ayudar con proyectos que tengan un impacto social. Entonces, el año pasado aplicamos a los fondos y era con el enfoque de darle una oportunidad a aquellas personas que tienen discapacidad. En este caso nos enfocamos en dos: discapacidad visual y discapacidad o deficiencia motora. Y la idea es convertir a la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá en una institución que sea un poco más inclusiva para estas personas con este tipo de discapacidad. Pero lo interesante de aquí es que nosotros, además de eso, estamos involucrando estudiantes de colegio para que ellos participen en la solución. Entonces, ya hemos tenido a los estudiantes desde el mes de junio y se debe extender hasta este mes de noviembre, donde ellos han estado participando en talleres para aprender a leer y escribir en braille. Y eso es con el objetivo de hacer unos letreros. Ya los letreros, tenemos los primeros letreros ya terminados, que han sido hechos en impresoras 3D para colocarlos en distintos puntos de la universidad, y que eso se pueda ser un primer paso para que la universidad se convierta en un centro más inclusivo. Esa es una de las actividades. También han estado trabajando en aprender un poco en códigos, en Arduino, para hacer algunos puntos de información auditiva para estas personas también con discapacidad visual. También he estado liderando un grupo de estudiantes de 5º año de ingeniería electromecánica que ya trabajaron en un primer prototipo de una silla de ruedas automatizada. Entonces, todas estas actividades tienen un doble beneficio, no solamente para las personas con discapacidad, sino también para los chicos, para que ellos puedan ver que con todas estas áreas de STEM, ellos pueden proporcionar beneficios a la comunidad. Así que muchísimas gracias, un poco de mi experiencia.
Excelente, Victoria. Bueno, Victoria y Edson, no se vayan todavía porque quiero que le den algunos consejos a los participantes, pero antes de eso, I'm going to switch back to the questions in the meeting chat. Quiero comenzar a contestar algunas de las preguntas del meeting chat, y si tienen otras preguntas que surgen o sienten que no se les han contestado, también las pueden hacer. Hay que aprovechar que tenemos a Liliana, a Sergio, a Steven aquí con nosotros, y también a Victoria y a Edson, que pasaron por el proceso de Senacid, Senacid y Fulbright también. Okay, Daniel nos pregunta, the question's in English, so I'm going to respond in English. Good afternoon. I have a question. So to apply for the sponsorship that the Senacid is offering, I need to be admitted in the master that I'm applying for. I'm asking because I want to apply, but I just saw the sponsorship that Senacid is offering. So, Darinel, te voy a contestar en ambos idiomas, pero so there are two processes that for Senacid you need to have, they need to go in parallel. And I think it's important to do both. For the Senacid scholarships, normally, and Victoria and Edson, if you have any advice, normally when you apply to Senacid, because the timing here might differ from the time of when the university program starts, usually what happens is you apply to the scholarship first, be it the master's scholarships like the ones that are open right now, or a PhD scholarship. So you apply to that scholarship. But in the application, you have to put at least a couple of options for the universities in the Shanghai or QS rankings that you're interested in applying to. So it's a process that you have to do in parallel. And so you don't have to be admitted per se to the university, but do show some interest or some communication with that institution. Is that correct, Victoria and Edson?
Yeah, that's right. And I advise you that you do it almost not at the same time, but you have to be careful in the timing, because you have to check on their website, especially the university that you're interested in, because they have their own deadlines and it's different for each university. So you have to be careful on that, because if you miss it, and then you have to wait for the next deadline. And they usually post everything on their website if you wanna start. Usually their academic year starts in August, but some universities have two like starting points, like you can either start on August or in January, but it depends on either university that you want to apply for.
So aquí, the message here is to apply to the Senacid, because it's a process that you have to do in parallel. But if you don't apply to the Senacid, then you might not have that option when you finish the admission process for the universities that you are applying to. So it's important to have options of university. Don't just apply to one. Make sure you have, we advise to, if you can, to at least apply to 3 or 4, depending on what you want to focus on. So you have that option, but it's important that you apply for Senacid. For Fulbright, it's totally different. For Fulbright, you apply for the Fulbright scholarship. They're usually at the beginning of the year, but you need to be looking at the requirements right now. But Fulbright, they assign you the university. So it's a different process. But for Senacid, for example, you have to do the Senacid scholarship and the essays in Spanish and all they ask for in Spanish, all the paperwork they ask. And it looks like a lot of paperwork, but believe me, it's worth it.
Completely.
Do it.
Yeah, it is.
And if you need help, I'm sure Victoria and Edson, I'm going to put you on the spot, but if Fiestas Patrias, we're kind of in a lockdown right now. So Victoria and Edson both work at UTP, ellos son profesores en la UTP y estoy segura que pasaron por ese proceso y están más que disponibles para ayudarlos también. No sientan como que, ay, eso es mucho papeleo, lo voy a hacer el otro año. No. Si pueden, apliquen ahora. Si no se la ganan, vuelven a aplicar. Pero lo que no puede pasar es que no aplican pensando que es el otro año y de repente cambia el gobierno, cambia.
Sí.
Entonces, las cosas hay que hacerlos en el momento. No piensen de que voy a esperar. No. Si ya pueden, mejor apliquen ahora y si se la ganan, se la ganan. Si no, si se la ganan, pueden aplicar a la universidad y si no están listos, entonces pueden aplicar el siguiente año a la otra universidad o pedir un deferral, pero eso ya es otro tema, pero por lo menos ya tienen el funding, ya tienen la beca completa. Esa beca completa es un lujo.
Es un lujo y para los que hemos estudiado en los Estados Unidos y que nos fuimos completamente becados y sabíamos que teníamos estudiantes que tenían que ver cómo se dividían, o sea, es de verdad que completamente, it's completely worth it, que tengan que hacer todo el papeleo. Yo tuve, cuando apliqué con Senacid, que fue para el doctorado, 4 años para hacer mi programa de doctorado en lo que no me tenía que preocupar de más nada que de estudiar.
Sí.
Entonces, eso no cualquiera lo puede hacer.
Es un beneficio porque también puedes hacer investigación, puedes dedicarte a lo que estás haciendo y no tienes que estar pensando de que si tengo plata para comer o sea, no entras en ese tema. Entonces, si son panameños y pueden aplicar a la beca de Senacid, lo mejor es que lo hagan y se vayan preparando para hacerlo. Steven, you had a comment.
Yes, I was going to say, if you are applying to both Senacid and to the university, I would encourage you to always check and always apply by what we call a priority deadline or a funding deadline. So most graduate programs in the US will have 2 deadlines to when you can apply. One is a funding deadline, which means you want to be considered for an assistantship or a fellowship from the university. The other is just an application for admission and not being considered for aid. So if you can apply by the early deadline, then you give yourself 2 options of applying for aid. You are applying for Senacid and you are applying for that scholarship, but then you are also applying to the university and asking the university to consider you for aid from the school too. So knowing when those deadlines are and applying by that early deadline gives you the greatest number of options for a scholarship.
That's good advice. And that's good advice even for undergrad, for those students that are listening. It's just a good advice overall. Apply early, get your letters of recommendations early. Don't ask the recommender like the day before. Like take your time so that you have people reviewing. And I am going to say this, please be careful with ChatGPT and all these things, because you want to make sure you don't cheat yourself. If you feel like your level of English is not the best, you can always have us review your essay, but please try to write it yourself, because you don't want to get into that situation where you think you're in a better level when you're seeing that some of these universities would support you with the English language and maybe you need it. So don't try to do that. I need to say that because that's something that we didn't used to say before, but do make sure that is your content, that is your experience, and all of you have so many things to say in your statement of purpose of why you want to do this, and make sure that in the process at UTP, even if you're in Chiriquí or in Azuero, just what Victoria mentioned, like there are projects that you can work with her and volunteer. And then she could give you a letter of recommendation, right? Like you don't have to wait like, oh, I'm gonna apply. Like maybe you have 1 year to do. I know there are a couple of students here that are in research projects. Make sure you apply for those research projects while you're in your undergrad. Like all that counts. So when NC State reviewers or ASU reviewers or Northeastern reviewers are looking at your application like, oh yeah, he's really into this engineering. Look at what all he has done. And even when he was an undergrad student. Edson.
Sí, yo quería dar una opinión acerca de eso que estaban hablando del funding antes de aplicar. Ahí yo diría que si uno va a aplicar por lo menos a programas de Senacid, hay que leer los requisitos con anterioridad. Y esa es la parte que yo creo que es más crítica. Yo he ayudado a bastantes personas que han querido aplicar para a estos programas y yo siempre les digo que lo que sea que vayan a aplicar, si el deadline es en 6 meses, léanlo hoy, porque tienen el tiempo para prepararse y qué es lo que necesita. En mi caso, el Senacid me pedía la carta de admisión antes de aplicar a la beca. Así que yo tuve que aplicar a NorthEastern antes. Entonces, para aplicar a NorthEastern, yo iba a entrar en admisión. Yo no estaba pidiendo assistantship, así que yo le tuve que demostrar a la universidad que yo tenía fondos personales antes de irme. Eso fue un pequeño loop que yo no sé si Senacid ya lo corrigió o en los nuevos programas se consideró, porque básicamente yo tenía que tener fondos antes de tener fondos. Entonces, eso fue
Sí, porque si no tienes los fondos, entonces no tienes los fondos para que
sí,
te den
entonces,
terminas como un catch-22 ahí que...
sí, it was such a problem. Entonces, cuando logré aplicar, ya de ahí en adelante todo fue smooth. Solo que ese es el consejo que yo doy, que si uno quiere aplicar, uno tiene que ver con bastante anterioridad para que las fechas no te caigan encima, no diga, ya nada, me quedan 2 semanas, no puedo hacer eso. Si lo lees con tiempo, te va a sobrar el tiempo.
Exacto. Bueno, y también es importante lo que dice Edson, o sea, revisen cada convocatoria de Senacid, porque cada uno de los requisitos son diferentes, los tiempos son diferentes, así que es importante que vean eso con tiempo. Sergio, un comentario.
Yes. So just to add to the previous comments from Steven and Edson, so as it happens in all the information sessions like this one, the main concern is scholarships or funding for graduate studies. So that's normal. But I'm really happy and proud to hear the testimonials from Victoria and Edson that got scholarships from in a similar and different way at the same time. And again, just to say and to encourage all the students that most of the time scholarships opportunities are lost because students don't, or you feel frustrated to see all the requirement list that universities or institutions are asking for, but actually it's possible, and everything's possible to get at least an amount of funding for graduate studies in the US, even though you consider that, yes, these kind of programs are expensive, but again, it's not because of the cost, but because of the investment. So it's possible to get a way of funding from the domestic institution, like in Panama, or a scholarship, or assistantship, or employment in the US institution. So at the same time, again, what we see every time is that students are kind of resisting into applying because they see that all institutions are asking a lot of requirements. But at the end, if you comply with that requirement, the percentage of getting the funding is very, 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 very high. So,
exactly.
So again, it's not, and it takes time. Yes, it does, but it's possible.
And it also depends on what field you're applying to, because right now, for example, with the CHIPS Act coming and you know, in environmental and in computer science, like there are specific topics that the US is also looking for talent, and they're looking for women in STEM, and so don't cancel yourself out before even trying, right? So anyway, I think it's a matter of doing You have to try to do both. There was another question that Inel asked. A sponsored student in the US, could the students work part-time jobs or do internships in the country? Do you want to answer that, Stephen?
Yeah, I can. So the answer here is yes, but it depends on the kind of work that you want to do. So it also depends on the visa that you're coming on. So if you come on an F1, which is a student visa, you have different rules than if you come on a J1, which is a scholar visa. So I'm guessing Edson and Victoria came on different visas. I'm guessing Victoria, as you came on a Fulbright, you came on a J. Edson, I'm assuming you came on an F visa.
F1, yes, F1.
So you have different sets of rules as to what you can do. If you come on a J1 through a Fulbright program, your what's called academic training is the work authorization that you would receive, and that is contingent upon the approval of the Fulbright program. If you and you can still do work on campus on a J1, you just have to get work authorization. But as a J scholar student, you cannot work off campus. You can't go take a job at a coffee shop, or you can't do anything of that work on or off campus. The only thing you can do is related to your studies. On an F1 visa, you have a lot more flexibility. So on an F1 visa, you can work on campus. And I think it requires two things. It has to be on-campus employment, and the paycheck has to come from the university. Those are the two main rules. After your first full year of academic study on an F visa, you can then take an internship. You can do some kind of career-related work during your studies. That is called curricular practical training. The more common thing is that students will wait until they finished, especially those students that are going into STEM fields, so science, engineering, mathematics, things like that. And you can do up to 3 years of post-degree work in the United States. So that's a long way of saying, yes, there are rules about it. When you get to your campus, you'll want to talk to the International Student Office, and they'll be able to talk to you through all of the specific regulations to that. But I think there are multiple ways to do that, and multiple ways to both find opportunities on campus and off campus.
So here the answer will be ask. Don't think that you know, because you don't want to make that mistake. So I'm sure every institution has an international person, and you can ask your advisor, and please ask. Then Ivan is asking, thank you, Stephen. That was very, very, very good. Hi, everyone. Focusing on research, what can be the key? Let's take the advantage I can have in the moment of the interview or application. Oh, okay, so they're asking for for tips in terms of like the undergrad thesis. Do you need one paper published? Collaborative relations with your professor, researcher. I guess Ivan is asking a question that's similar to the one that Ana Raquel is asking too. Like, do universities look at this? Do they look at any published thesis for masters or for PhDs?
Yes, in general, yes, we do look. We try to look. We try to. It's another thing that we can kind of count in your favor when we are making applications decisions. We want to see that you have some kind of research experience, especially if you're going from a bachelor's program directly applying to a PhD program. It's really, really valuable. I think it is only one of many things that we are looking at, though. So those letters of recommendation are still going to be very important, as will your statement of purpose. But we do look at things like publications, and we don't care if you're author number 10 of 10. If you've published, you are published, and that is great. And you should make sure that you talk about that and highlight that, because that is unique. Not every undergraduate student is invited to serve as an author or a co-publisher on a paper. So highlight that.
Yeah, that's a good point. As well as any research project you've done with Tennessee, all that volunteer work, mentorship, anything that you can add, it's important to include it. I don't know if it's a requirement more than it's a bonus for the application. Okay, ¿qué más? Let me see, what other questions am I missing? Okay, Okay, Jorge's asking regarding Duolingo English test. Okay, so we didn't really talk, and we do need those answers, because a lot of students ask if you need a GRE, if you need TOEFL, Duolingo. Can we just jump real quick? I know we're like getting close to end time, but Lilian, ASU, tell me, what are the requirements right now in terms of testing English, and if you need GRE or any of those?
Yes, for us here at ASU, regarding the English, we accept TOEFL, we accept IELTS, and we accept Duolingo. The only thing is that it has to be no later than 2 years, counting on the day that you're starting your program. Okay, but like I mentioned in my presentation, we do offer some other options, kind of like what Victoria did, that you can start doing some program and then transfer to your, an English program, and then transfer to the master that you want. Now, regarding the other exams, it depends for us, the program that you're applying to. Some of our programs do not require another test. So I will encourage you to go directly to our website, look at the program that you're interested in, and see if it requires a special test. That's at least for us, for ASU.
That's great. Thank you, Liliana. Stephen.
We were muted. So yeah, like Lillian, we accept IELTS, Duolingo, and TOEFL. Each of them has a minimum score that is published on our graduate webpage. I believe it's 6.5 IELTS, 80 TOEFL, 110 Duolingo. And then if you want to apply for an assistantship, those have to be a little bit higher, especially for teaching assistantships, where you are expected to be an instructor teaching in the classroom. We will expect you to have a little bit higher scores. So check that. As I mentioned earlier, we are a GRE optional campus, but some of our programs have very specific GRE requirements. They say you must have this score to be accepted into this program. So as a university, we say not required, but some of our departments use that test. So it's always department specific, especially at the graduates, postgrados level.
Right. So again, it's important for you to ask if it's required or not. And we do, to answer that question, Jorge, we do have in Education USA programs where you can practice for the TOEFL. They're virtual, they're not a formal training program, but do write to us. I just wrote my email address, see if we can give you some advice for other English programs that you could possibly do before or as you do this process. Because when you apply, for example, for the Tennessee scholarship, the good thing is that you still have a year by the time you actually go into the program. So it's important to take advantage of that time. So Sergio, what about Northeastern?
Yeah, so in our case, we accept as well TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo. However, same as Stephen, there are some specific requirements for each of our colleges. And just to say, we learned this week that actually the College for Computer Science at Northeastern no longer accepts Duolingo. However, the other colleges, they do. So in the case of this College for Computer Science, they are looking for a specific requirement regarding a minimum score in IELTS 6.5 and TOEFL, they are looking for a 100 IBT score. And regarding the other test, yeah, we're not, it's waived until this point that we know for entry requirements for 2024. However, I know that the university is still kind of deciding if they're gonna ask, and each college are still deciding if they are returning to get some GRE or GMAT scores. So we will let you know about that as soon as we know.
Sorry, now I was muted. Thank you. Okay. So I think we answered those. Antonio had specific questions about the MS at ASU, and Chester replied. He was asking about the length of one of the master's program. And Raquel again is asking. She's interested in grad school. And Raquel, I don't know if you're still on. And Raquel is one of our Math Olympiad tutors. So I'm happy to thank you for joining us today. Recuérdame, Ana Raquel, ¿tú vas a hacer posgrado? ¿Es maestría o doctorado? No sé si estás todavía conectada. Maestría, okay. So she's asking, like, for masters, if she should do an exam or at least have a published article for math. No,
not a specific test.
okay,
Yeah,
Upon
no specific
entry.
test.
okay.
Agreed.
So, okay, so that's good. So let's keep, let's talk after Ana Raquel, so we can better help you. I think in the current San Assis scholarship, there is a quantitative math. It's not only computer science. I think there is a math master's there. So it would be good for you to consider that one for the technology fields. It does include math. ¿Qué más? Tengo las otras preguntas. I think that's it. The other questions were answered. So just to wrap up, Victoria, just a quick, especially for girls out there, just a quick advice from your perspective, just like 1 minute advice that you can provide the students that are here and the ones that are going to listen to this recording.
Okay, one little advice, and that's something that when I went to the interview for the Fulbright process, I think it was very important for me. What do you think you are gonna do once you finish your program back in Panama? Because the idea of all these programs is that you are gonna get either a master's or a PhD. But what are you planning to do when you come back here, and how this is gonna stand out from the crowd? Because remember that there are several applications, several people who are gonna be trying to get the same funding, but you have to be unique in your answer to get that funding. So that would be my advice. What do you think you can contribute with your master's or PhD once you are done in the United States when you come back to Panama?
That's a good question, and it's a good thing to be thinking not only for the interview but also for your statement of purpose.
Exactly.
That way it helps you. So that's why it's important to reach out to other professors at UTP. Hablen con los profesores de la UTP para que los ayuden a pensar, okay, ¿qué voy a hacer con este grado una vez que me gradúe, con este degree, cuando me gradúe, ¿qué voy a hacer con este diploma? ¿Qué voy a hacer en esta carrera? ¿Qué me gustaría investigar? ¿Cómo eso va a ayudar a resolver algún problema en Panamá o algún problema para el futuro? Entonces, eso es muy importante tenerlo en cuenta. Muchas gracias, Victoria, por ese consejo. Lily, just one quick advice and before we wrap up.
I guess one of the advices that I have, and we've been talking about that you guys, we encourage you to apply. We're telling you about all the benefits, but of course, the main important thing is apply. Don't spend the rest of your life with the what if. I guess that you will find that these three are fantastic universities. You will be surprised about the opportunities that you're going to find in each one of us. So I will encourage you to, take the lead, apply, and we'll be all happy to help you.
You're not alone, you're not alone. No están solos, apliquen, que Liliana está ahí para ayudarlos también. Steven.
My bit of advice, I would say, do your research, do your homework now. As Gladys mentioned, there are 4,700 institutions of higher learning in the United States. Finding those places that are going to be a good fit for you is really important. You're going to spend between 2 and 5 years somewhere, possibly longer if you stay and do OPT or something like that. So really find that place where you feel like you're going to be happy, where you have strong connections to the students, the professors, the staff, because that will really help make your graduate experience very meaningful and very powerful.
Great advice, Steven. And Sergio, Northeastern.
Yes, so it's never too late actually to apply. That's another thing. Even though you need to plan well in advance, but it's never too late to take that step. And I think also be surrounded, and us universities here represented, we're gonna give all the information that you will require. But I think the most valuable thing is actually to hear and listen from the people that have done this process, like the Victoria and Edson now actually are better promoters of higher education in the US than us, actually. And so let's listen to them. They did it, so you can.
That's it. You can do it too. So with that, I left in the chat both of the sheets that I mentioned Education USA has, the ability for defining our priorities, and also the ability for Posgrados USA. There's also our email address. Please reach out if you have any other questions. We're happy to connect you with any of our panelists. And again, Victoria, muchas gracias por conectarte desde Chiriquí.
Mucho gusto.
Tratemos de incluir a más representatividad de las provincias en las próximas aplicaciones. Again, thank you for everything. If you have specific questions regarding the Senacid process, feel free to email us, but do ask in the email that they have on their website so that you get those questions answered. But take advantage of this long weekend, and felices fiestas patrias. Sigan construyendo su futuro. Muchas gracias a todos, and have a great weekend. Bye.